I was
this
like
is called
looking.
That's Hot.
I was looking this way and had no idea what was happening. I just heard a turbine in my ear. That was great.
This thing is awesome. Okay. I won't use it the whole time, just for a second.
You might as well. If you want, I'll just hold it. Let's see if it goes away. Can you guys hear it?
Yeah. Like, thanks.
There's nothing we can do. Those are in a fan like that has been in every single one of my set bags since like I moved to LA because I sweat so much on set.
I get so hot too with the lights and everything, and I just hate being hot.
Yeah.
I was just in the Middle East for speaking at the Milken conference, and then we went to the races during the day for Formula One, and it was just like 120 degrees, so humid. I was literally the only one with like a sparkly, like blinged out fan, like carrying around. Everyone's like, "What is that?"
Like, it's a fan. It's hot.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna do a line of them called like "That's Hot Fans."
That's hot fans. That's good. You can get like, is a parasol the type of like? Is that one of those like umbrellas that blocks the sun with like a lady wears, or a lady holds? Like that's like an old Victorian era thing, I think.
I need that with like fans like
attached to it,
solar powered.
Where was the Milken thing? Where is that?
That was in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
That's cool. I've never been to Abu Dhabi.
It's hot. Bring a fan.
Fire. And a parasol.
Exactly.
Ideally with fans attached to it.
I'll make you one.
Yeah, I will fucking use it.
Hell yeah. So I just want to say congratulations. I'm loving The Recruit on Netflix. Carter and I have been binging it. It's so good.
Thank you.
Like, you killed it.
No, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So how was this project? Was it a lot of fun?
Yeah, it was cool. It was great. We shot in Montreal, so it was the opposite of what we're talking about. It was fucking freezing. Are we allowed to curse?
Yeah, of course.
It's like it was fucking cold.
Fuck yeah. But that's better than being fucking hot.
I think so. Like I prefer it. I actually really liked it. You just get a jacket, you know, like you know, if you get a jacket. I didn't even have gloves. So I guess it wasn't that cold that I felt it was necessary to get gloves. But it was great. We went there and it was 6 months. We started in October and then we finished, I think, in like March. Ended up going to Vienna for a couple weeks and then LA for a couple of days. And it was definitely the longest I'd ever been away from home to work on something.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I got to learn not because like I don't like being at home or I like didn't miss my friends or my family. There's just something about, I think, being not forced, but like being able to work in another country by yourself for that much time. You just get to spend a lot of time alone. And I don't know, it was for me like a great experience all around.
Yeah, it's fun just to get away sometimes from everything and just be able to focus.
Yeah.
I love Vienna too. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I got to swim in the river. They have that river that goes around the whole city. That was cool. It was
freezing.
Cold.
Cold as fuck.
Again, like that it's going to be cold. That's the thesis statement of this entire podcast will be temperature, whether it's hot or whether it's cold.
Global warming is not hot.
No, not at all.
Oh my God.
Speaking of which, like the amount of rain and storms that are hitting the entire country right now.
I know.
Wild. It rained for like 3 days straight in LA. It almost felt like.
It was crazy. I had to have someone come at like 10:30 at night 2 nights ago to like unclog like the drain things because it was like literally the pool was like almost about to overflow. It was just like nonstop. Yeah,
like some of my friends' houses like flooded.
Yeah, I saw something Ellen posted with like some weird thing like in the background just going crazy. It just looked like something out of a movie. Yeah.
The whole country's kind of up in arms about it. It's pretty wild.
Scary. But at least it's sunny today.
Yeah, it stopped raining. It's great.
I love LA.
I like the rain too, though, actually. Like, I think for me, I don't know why I've always loved the rain. I think it's probably because I'm from Florida.
Yeah, you're from Boca Raton, right?
Yeah, I was born there. And it's such bipolar weather because it'll be super sunny out and then there won't even be a cloud in the sky and it'll be raining. You'll be like, where's this rain coming from? Sun showers. And then suddenly like torrential downpour.
Yeah. It's like Miami.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Miami's Jesus. Yes. That sound is loud to everyone else as it did to me.
It's ASMR.
Yeah, we just crinkle the ice of the thing. Yeah, I fuck with I haven't spent a lot of time in Miami. Obviously, like living in Florida, I started acting out of Miami and West Palm Beach when I was younger. So I was there a lot more when I was younger doing commercials and modeling. But as I grew up, like I moved to LA, and then when I go back, I just like being, my dad has a place in Delray Beach. So when I go back, I just chill in Delray.
I love it there. It's just chill. I go with my parents a lot, and I don't know, I just think it's relaxing. Miami's fun to like go out, but I just love going there, and the restaurants and just the vibe is just really laid back. I don't know, I like it.
Yeah. It's a cool place to do nothing. Like I'm not really like, I don't really like going to like clubs or bars even really. So for me though, going back to Florida, it's just a different pace entirely. So even like getting out of Miami and just being able to like sit with my father or like read a book or something, it's really nice.
It's cute. Did you always, were never into the club scene or any of that?
No, I was into it when I was young. I was for sure into it when I was younger, especially out here in LA.
Yeah. It used to be so much fun.
It used to be really fun. I think like when you're in it, you love it. And then I kind of grew out of it.
Me too.
Yeah.
I feel like after the pandemic too, it's just not the same.
Really?
The vibe is not the same. I don't know.
I mean, people never danced in LA when you were going out. Like I remember when I would go out with my friends, we would like, I mean, some people would be dancing, but it's different if you're like in Miami, at least I think people dance and like want to have a good time. But in LA, people just like stand there and like hold a drink and just kind of like look around. It's like a weird vibe in general.
That's so true. And I feel like social media has just changed the whole vibe. Like back before that, LA was so much fun. Like everyone would go out. No one was worried about who was filming them or going to come up. It was like so sick.
That must have been so fucking tight, right? Like you didn't have to worry about someone pulling out a phone and like recording you, like chugging half a bottle of vodka or something. You were just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you did when you were in the club, but like, I feel like probably similar stuff to like what me and my friends like used to do. I mean, when it's like, you're just having a good time and like partying.
Oh my God. It was so much fun. There was nothing like it. Like, I feel like people today don't even know what fun is in LA nightlife.
Really? Yeah. I probably would have no idea. I mean, I think the last time that like I regularly went out, I was underage.
Yes.
You know? Like,
by the time you turn 21, you're like, I'm over
I'm
this.
serious. I got sober when I turned 21. The day before I turned 21, I was like, oh, I'm just not going to drink alcohol or do any drugs anymore.
And you haven't since?
No, it took a year off and then, and worked. And then after a year, I was like, oh, okay, I think I can manage it. And then for a few more years, I was like, yeah, I'll drink and whatever. And then about a year ago, I was like, I think I should take another break. So I've been technically sober for like just over a year.
That's awesome.
Point. It's cool. It's good for me.
Yeah.
I like doing it because I get to at least focus, you know, on everything that I want to do. And I feel accountable. Like if I were to show up to like today and I had been hungover and I just had like not given it my all, then like afterwards I'd be kicking myself like, man, like if you hadn't drank, whatever. At least now I go, if I suck, like I'm totally accountable for why I sucked.
Yes.
You know, I can't blame anything else except for me.
And it feels good to like wake up like not hungover.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Like when I used to go out all the time, I would just feel so dead the next day and just like hating life sometimes. And now I don't go out anymore. Like I'm always working. I don't drink. So I'm just feeling like amazing every morning. And it's just a different feeling.
100%. So do you not really drink either?
No.
Oh, cool.
I don't like the taste of it. Like I think before I was just so traumatized from what I went through at those schools, being abused and all that I was drowning the pain out and like not wanting to think about it. From getting out of there at 18 for a while, I just was like so consumed with the nightlife and going out and just not having to think about what happened to me.
Right.
And I think that's like a huge coping mechanism with people for sure.
Absolutely. It's like a painkiller. You don't have to think about it if you're having fun. I just want to have fun and you just want to feel euphoric, because especially if you've been through something as dark, and twisted, then last thing you want to do when you're younger is actually confront that.
I'm glad I finally did though.
Yeah.
But it took me a while to process that.
Can I ask what was there someone, or was it something that made you just go, I have to like deal with this. I can't go on not dealing with this and confronting it. Was it maybe you just like kept finding yourself repeating patterns and were like, I'm done with this pattern? Or was it someone that was like, you need to whatever?
It really was something that when I got out of there, I just made a promise to myself that I'm not going to tell anyone about this, just pretend it never happened, because they had really instilled that shame in me, making me think like I was the bad one, even though they were the ones that were being, obviously horrible people. Hold on, I got ADD and I forgot what I was saying.
I am the same way sometimes. I do the same exact shit.
What was the question one more time?
No, I was just I'm just curious if...
why did I start talking about it?
Right, or why did you go, okay, I need to stop drinking, or I need to confront whatever it is that I'm running away from?
It all happened basically for my documentary. I didn't talk about it with anyone. None of my friends knew. My family didn't know. My sister, my best friends, boyfriends, no one knew about this. This was my deep, dark secret.
That's crazy.
Because so many bad things had happened to me. And when you're a kid, you don't even know how to process things. So I thought I was such a bad person,
right, because
all of these horrible things that these adults, who are supposed to be taking care of me were doing to me. So I didn't trust anyone. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I literally just blocked it out from my memory. And that's why I created this Paris Hilton character and I'm this perfect life and I'm a dumb blonde and trying to just be the total opposite of what I really was. And then during the documentary, I always had these severe nightmares every night since I was a teenager, since I'm 16.
Right.
And they never went away. And it was always the same thing, getting taken out of my bed, kidnapped, brought to these places. And the whole dream, I'm just, all the same teachers are there, the same things are happening to me. And I'm just trying to escape. And it was a reoccurring nightmare every single night. And finally I told the director about it because I'm I can't sleep. I'm so fucking tired. We're in Korea. I'm on a press tour for my skincare line. I'm so dead. And she's like, why? I'm this crazy nightmare. And I told her about it. And then she said, well, why do you have those nightmares? I'm
right,
because it happened to me. But when we were filming and I go, but let's just not talk about it. We're not putting this on. And she's like, what do you mean? And then she tried to push me. And then the next morning she came to me with all the thousands and thousands of articles and stories that this was still happening. And it's become a multi-billion-dollar industry that's $150 billion industry or something. And there's thousands of the schools and it's blown up into this huge thing and nobody was talking about it. And she's like, you need to talk about it. And she's like, I found the girls you went to school with, all this. So it was really just crazy how it all happened, but I'm so glad it did because I didn't even know who I was until this film. It's crazy.
That's insane. And it wasn't really until the documentary that you stopped even drinking and stuff as well? Was it after that? All of that kind of came after? Or was that a little bit before as well?
It wasn't I was drinking every second. I was just going out and I'm so shy and I get such social anxiety that I need to have a shot or
totally,
a glass of I don't know, wine or something just to not be so embarrassed and not feel so weird walking in. And I don't know, I'm just really people wouldn't think that, but I'm such an introvert who pretends to be an extrovert because it's part of my job.
Well, you have to, right? Yeah, you learn to do that.
So yeah,
that's so crazy that it, but it's wonderful at the same time that was how you were able to talk about it. I mean, I feel I have a very privileged upbringing. I had a very safe childhood, and preteen years and early adolescent years into my 20s. I'd like to, honestly, the truth is all of the danger in my life came from my own decisions once I moved to LA and had enough money to take care of myself. But I read this book called A Little Life. And in it, one of the characters goes through unspeakable trauma in his early life and refuses to talk about it. His whole mentality was, I'm just going to pretend that this never happened to me, that I'm not this person that was impacted by these things, and I don't want anyone to know. And it's wild, I'm sure there's a reason why the author gave him that perspective and that identity of just trying to create a complete barricade between anyone finding out about them. And hearing you talk about it too, I can't imagine how many people have gone through something where they feel the same way.
It's been that's been one of the best parts, is just the people who have reached out to me and said, thank you so much for telling your story. I haven't spoken to my parents in years because of this. Now they finally believe me. people thought I was crazy for all these years. And now I finally feel validated for what I went through. And now to be changing laws in 7 states, taking it to a federal level. So this is illegal everywhere. So everything I went through, all the pain, all the trauma would make it worth it to me if I can stop it from happening to other kids. And that's why I'm just going to continue fighting for this. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing with all of your charity work and helping me raise awareness for this. And it just means a lot. You're a really cool dude.
No, man, it goes both ways. Like, I appreciate you like letting us get involved. I mean, I had no idea. I had no idea that this was going on until we met and started talking, and I learned about what you were doing. And it's important. Is there anything that like that anyone can do to like get involved and help push the agenda? You're like getting these laws passed and movement.
Definitely just going and signing our petition to shut down Provo Canyon School, which is at change.org. I will put that in the comment thing or whatever.
Wherever it goes, it'll be there.
I'll add it in. Let's make a note so I can add that in. Thank you for asking. And using the hashtag Breaking Code Silence and I See You Survivor. If you search on those, you'll find out so much that's going on. And if people also want to tell their stories, it's like go to the website, and we also have a podcast dedicated to it that I produce called Trapped in Treatment, which is all about the troubled teen industry. And just as much awareness as we can raise as possible is important, because there's literally been hundreds of children who have died, and it's heartbreaking that kids are going in there to be healed, and instead they're being traumatized and killed.
Wow. Yeah, the fact that is still happening is just wild. Like, you would think that, in 2023 with the internet as it is and the way that stories travel and how people can congregate and share their stories, something like this doesn't even catch fire until one person, namely you, decides to go, I'm going to speak out about this publicly. Mm-hmm. You would think that it would have been uncovered already. And it begs the question, I wonder how many other things are going on that just haven't been uncovered yet because someone is too afraid to come forward and say something.
Oh yeah, there's so many. They do scare tactics. They sue these people. They threaten their families. Like, I've heard so many stories where people are just too scared to say anything.
And these are programs. Are they? Can you tell me more? Like, if that's okay, if we can talk about this.
Yeah, of course. I love talking about it because I think it's important. So thank you for caring.
Yeah, of course. I'm just curious too. Mm-hmm. As someone that's ignorant of the programming in itself. Mm-hmm. So, are these schools that kids are sent to that have that kids are thought to have bad behavior, and it's a kind of like, I don't know, wilderness camp, or is it?
It's a mixture of everything. Like, I went to 4 of them mm-hmm. because I kept running away, and I went to wilderness as well, which was horrible. And that place is shut down because a lot of kids died there.
Whoa.
And they're called emotional growth schools. So they kind of con the parents, or they very much con the parents into thinking it's an amazing place. They have fake brochures and websites where their kids are smiling, and they get stock photos of like kids riding horses and like, doing all these amazing things. And you think that they're going to go and be happy in this beautiful place. But when you get there, it's like a cult. Like, it started as a cult in the 1960s, and it's all of these people have like realized how profitable it is. So they would go out, and other people who would work there would go and open their own. So now there's just like thousands of them that are all related. And anytime there's a death, they'll change the name to another name. And they're not really considered schools. They're not considered hospitals. They're like in this kind of like gray area, so they can get away with it legally because there's not really laws. So children basically have like no human rights in these places.
Oh my God. They're not, but it's a cult. Is there like a religious element to it usually, or?
It's very weird. It was called Synanon. This was like in the 60s, and it was not religious, like about like loving God or anything like that. It was crazy, just the kind of rules that this guy would have and making.
He was kind of the like head, like this is the guy that, like, I guess is, the leader of the cult or whatever.
And then he opened CEDU, which was the first place that I went to in San Bernardino Mountains.
Whoa.
And they got shut down because kids were dying there as well.
And there's still hundreds of them open, or like a bunch of them
Thousands.
open. Thousands of them open. And not just in America, or?
Mostly America, actually. But in Jamaica and Mexico, they're locking kids in little dog cages that they're putting backpacks on children who have autism and other disabilities and are electrocuting them. Like they just are literally doing the most sadistic things. And these are kids, some of them, have autism. They might have a disability. They might have ADD, which I had ADD, but no one knew that. So they just assumed because I was getting bad grades and, not paying attention that I was a bad kid. But really, I just, wasn't diagnosed as having ADHD.
Right. And then they're going to think that you're being a bad student or a bad kid, and they're going to punish you as such when really, like, you literally just have so much trouble focusing.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And there's different ways to teach different kids, obviously.
And then there's kids in there also who have been arrested and, they're not of age, so they're sent there. So it's a mixture of everyone together.
And I'm sure that they being administration don't really separate people, right? If there's kids that are more prone to violence, right, and being violent, they probably just throw everybody together.
Everyone's together.
And there's probably not a lot of governance over like bullying.
No. And you're from 8 to 18. There's a lot of sexual abuse that's happening between the counselors, the students.
My God.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. I thank you for opening my eyes to it and talking about it, because I had no idea.
No one had any idea, because the things you hear and see, it's like something out of a horror film. Like,
right.
I literally remember new things all the time. And I'm like, oh my God, like I can't believe that actually happened. But when someone tells a story, then I will remember something that I had blocked out.
How much time in your life was spent under these programs? Like a year, 2 years, 6 months?
I was at CEDU for like 3 weeks. I ran away.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was at a wilderness camp for like 12 weeks. I ran away there too, but then I had to stay there longer because I ran away.
You ran away, right?
Then I got sent to another place for like a month, ran away. And then I was at Provo Canyon School for 11 months till I was almost 18. So it was like almost 2 years of my life.
From like 15 or 16
to 18. Like
Jeez.
The most formative years of your life where you're supposed to be like finding out who you are, going to prom, like I missed all the normal things.